So, put in some work. So we gonna cover a lot of ground because I got like 30, 45 minutes till I'm close to home. But definitely gonna talk about Jake Paul basically showing who he really is, which I warned you guys about him like years ago. What was up with him and what was gonna happen to him. And I called it. Then I'm also gonna talk about this secret hate that, and you know what I'm saying, and animosity that people got towards Shakur Stevenson. And go cover some other stuff too. Gonna possibly talk about Canelo, just depending on how I feel, and talk about what's going on with Ryan Garcia, and talk about how basically, enough is enough, and a lot of these dudes gonna have to stop, with this goofy promotional banking, because like I said, it's lame, and you guys look really goofy caping for a dude that don't give a damn about you, and that's just real. But in case you guys don't know, it was announced that Jake Paul, some people call him other names, will be taking on Nate Diaz on August the 5th in Dallas on the Zone. And it's something that I gotta put out there, and a question I gotta ask. This fight is gonna be telegraphed via the Zone. Okay, it's gonna be televised via the Zone. Paul just coming off ESPN, and before that Showtime. If this dude is doing the numbers that they saying he doing, why is he bouncing from network to network? I'm just saying, if this dude is selling all these pay-per-views, they talking about that fight did like 500,000, which I didn't believe. And then they tried to say the other fight did like some astronomical amount. Like I said before, if he was doing the pay-per-view numbers that they was reporting, then why wouldn't they keep him on? Just a question. Just a question. And we don't even know. And we don't even know what David Benavidez and Caleb Plant did. Now, I was told by three different people, three different numbers. And all three of them numbers wasn't exactly what I would call good. And that's just fact. But getting back to Jake Paul, this was a dude after he lost to Tommy Fury. Oh, we gonna run it back. I want an immediate rematch, and I'm gonna knock him out in a rematch. Now look who he fighting. He fighting 37-year-old Nate Diaz, another MMA fighter without any boxing background. Now I know that Nate Diaz boxes, but he's never fought a converting and doing both sports at the same time. This is gonna be his first professional boxing debut, but and then he tried to say, oh, people need to take me serious. We're not take you serious. You're not a professional boxer, dude. You stop trying to promote yourself as a professional boxer. I told you guys years ago, just watching Jake Paul and watching how he fights, I said the moment he stepped in the ring with a half decent fighter with minimal boxing skills, he was gonna get exposed. And that happened when he stepped in the ring with Tommy Fury. And I told you after that fight, looking at Jake Paul, he reached his peak. That's the best you're going to get out of Jake Paul. He can't get any better. Like I said, Jake Paul would get really hurt if he fought somebody like David Benavidez or Arthur Beterbiev. Arthur Beterbiev probably would really hurt him, if not take his life. And I kept saying that. And then you had his fans, oh, you're a hater, oh, you just don't like him because he's white. That don't make any, that was stupid. I don't like him because he's white. Hilarious. Oh, you're a hater. You just don't, he's, man, just stop it. I saw this several times just watching the dudes he was picking. So like I said, and has Jake Paul fought any MMA fighters under the age of 30? Because it seemed like all of them seem to be in they you know what I'm saying, they're mid or late 30s, with the exception of Anderson Silva, who I think is almost my age, who like 46, 47. So that's just a question that I'm posing, but this is what he does. This is what Jake Paul does. And like I told you, the gig is up, and I think Jake Paul know it now. So now he going back on his MMA fighter tour, because I don't think he have confidence in himself. And to be honest with you, Hasim Rahman Jr. would have beat Jake Paul the hell up. That's why he was trying to weight drain him. That's why he was trying to weight drain him. So now, when that fight failed, and then he tried to get out of the fight anyway, because one, the fight was going to be at Madison Square Garden and the fight wasn't selling. That's another thing. And he was trying to front about that. The fight wasn't selling. They wasn't selling no tickets. Just because somebody got 20 million YouTube subscribers don't mean that 20,000 people is going to travel and pay money to come see you fight live. They'd rather watch you on YouTube, how you like got your, you know what I'm saying, your rise to stardom, how you got to be who you are. So it's over. It's over. I don't think the Nick Diaz fight is gonna draw real interest, because we've seen this formula many times with Jake Paul, and now he's resorted back to that same formula because he don't believe in himself. He tried to pretend like he wasn't shook, but he was shaking losing to Tommy Fury, and I think Tommy Fury gave him a scare. And I think he man, I don't want to be humiliated. And I think if he fought Tommy Fury again, I think Tommy Fury would beat the brakes off of him. I think the butterflies that Tommy Fury had is, you know what I'm saying, is shaking. I think they didn't flew away. And I think now Tommy Fury is man, I will destroy this dude. Next time I'm going to destroy him. Because at the end of the day, there is a little, nervousness, going into a fight like this. And, your family is watching, your legacy, your name is on the line. And I think once it was over and Tommy Fury's hand was raised, he was probably well, if we fight again next time, I'm going to beat him the hell up. And I just think Jake Paul don't want that. And I think Jake Paul don't want to see himself humiliated. So what he tried to do is continue to put on this charade, pretending to be a boxer when he not. If he want to say he a boxing entertainer, if he want to say that, then that's fine. But you ain't no professional boxer if out of 7 fights or however many fights you done had, well, 6 of them ain't been against any real fighters. So that's just a fact. And let's just keep it a buck. Let's stop playing these games with Jake Paul. Let's stop calling this dude a professional fighter, because he's not a professional fighter. Like one dude said in the comment section, man, go join the WWE with your brother, man. Go be a wrestler with your brother, man. Go be tagged or something, man. And that's just real talk. All right, move on to the next subject. Let me talk about this situation that's going on with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. You're hearing a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes, in particular with Ryan Garcia's camp. You're hearing now, if I'm Tank, I would disregard it. At the end of the day, sometimes people put stuff out there to throw you off and get you relaxed, and then when fight day come, or when the bell ring, you see a totally different version of the person that you thought that you might be fighting based off what you've been hearing. So Tank must continue with business and prepare for this fight like this is one of the biggest fights of his career, which they've seen the maidens look like it's one of the biggest fights of his career, when in all honesty it really ain't, because nothing is on the line. Once again, this is a popularity fight. This is dang near a social media fight, except Ryan Garcia is actually a professional boxer. He really don't bring nothing to the table but his millions of social media fans. And I'm just keeping it a buck. Tank is expected to win, but you just hearing things about that Ryan Garcia is like starving himself, and you hearing that his father don't like what he sees, and you know, if he don't like what he see, like later on in the fight, after the fight goes on, if he see that Ryan is taking too much of a beating, he gonna ask him. You just hearing this kind of stuff, and it could be true, and it may be something that they just throwing out there to distract Tank or catch him off guard, or get him to let his guard down. You got to watch that kind of stuff when you hear about people leaking information, because it could be a trap. So carry on, Tank. Carry on with business like it's business. Treat it like it's a regular fight. Don't take this dude lightly, because if you take him lightly, that's how you get caught slipping. Then you end up losing the fight. I'm telling you, if Tank loses this fight, it's gonna be a bad look. But at the same time, we already know when Tank brutally knocks out Ryan Garcia, the excuses gonna come. Tank is not gonna get credit for this. And then, like I said before, what's next for Tank? Should he, and when he knocks out Ryan Garcia, what is next for him? What does he want to do next? What? Like I said, a rematch with Rolly? I know that they said they supposed to run it back, but you got to ask yourself, okay, is Ryan Garcia going to want a rematch? You know? So you have to ask yourself, knocked out. I think Tank knocked 8th or 7th round stoppage. Maybe best case scenario, or should I say worst case scenario for Tank, and best case scenario for Ryan Garcia, he lasts around 9 rounds before he gets brutally knocked out. I think Ryan Garcia is going to be a meme. I think he's going to be a you know what I'm saying? A highlight reel. I think he's going to be a study tape, because I just got a feeling that he going to get slept. Now, I could be wrong. Ryan may go in there and whoop old Tank. And if he does, he get his props. But I don't see that happening. Unless Ryan Garcia then corrected some of the obvious flaws you see in him, you just know it's going to happen eventually. So I'm expecting Tank to catch him. I'm expecting Tank to catch him. I think Tank gonna drop him for the first time. He gonna drop him first. He probably gonna drop him at the end of the 7th or the 8th round, and then I think he gonna be saved by the bell. Ryan gonna try to recover, and then I think that Tank gonna go in there. Ryan gonna try to shake it off and pretend that he's not hurt, and then I think Tank is gonna land that signature uppercut. He gonna land a body shot first, and he gonna land an uppercut, and that's gonna be it. Ryan gonna be slept. The referee ain't even gonna bother to do the whole 10 count, and that's gonna be the end of the fight. That's gonna be the end of the fight. Real talk. My prediction: Tank Davis, 9th round brutal, not TKO, 9th round knockout. Ninth round knockout. That fight is not going the distance, like I said. Now, if it does, I'll be surprised, but I just know Ryan gonna get stopped. I'm already preparing for it, but then, like I said, the aftermath of the stoppage, you're gonna have the excuses being made. Just like what's gonna happen when Devin Haney is victorious over Vasily Lomachenko. They're gonna discredit him like it's nobody's business. So I'm expecting it. I've been saying this for far too long. All right, so let me move on to another subject. Now, this thing with Shakur Stevenson has been really, troubling to me, based off the hatred and just some of the criticism that Shakur Stevenson get. Now, Teddy Atlas gonna be Teddy Atlas. Look, Teddy Atlas got an axe to grind with, ESPN since they let him go. So I'm not getting, at the end of the day, he said what he said. I'm not gonna keep relishing on it. I mean, if you think Teddy Atlas is what you suspect him to be, which is a racist, I'm not gonna argue with you, and I'm not gonna tell you you wrong or you right, because the way he presented it, it seemed kind of suspicious. He tried to double back and kind of clean it up a little bit, which further implicated him and made him look suspicious. But as far as Shakur go, hopefully I'll see Mauricio Sullivan real soon, because I think Shakur deserves to get a test pay-per-view run. And I think the perfect fight for him would be Isaac Cruz. But then Isaac Cruz, he already done ducked Shakur Stevenson. I know you hearing that Jermaine Ortiz may be next. I would rather see that fight down the line. I'd rather see, another cross promotion fight. But the question is gonna come, is Al Heyman gonna let Isaac Cruz, go over there and fight Shakur Stevenson? Because you already know how they get down. You have to almost twist and turn and all this kind of stuff to get PBC to do cross promotion, which I think at the end of the day they hurting themselves and they losing money. Because at the end of the day, Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz would do some good numbers. Like I said, give him the same thing you did with Devin Haney. Give him a pay-per-view to test it out. See what he do. I think the fight would sell good depending on where you put it at. I think Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz in Los Angeles at the Staples Center would do a decent amount of tickets. I think they would sell a decent amount of tickets. I think in Las Vegas, they would sell a decent amount of tickets. Those type of fights is all about the location. That's not in particularly what you would call an East Coast showcase fight, but in the West, it would do very well. If they put that fight in Las Vegas, or they put it in Los Angeles or something at the Staples Center, because I think it's time to start marketing Shakur globally. About Shakur, he's a very person. And then he has to drive too. He like he said, like he did told me on several occasions, he said he feel he a superstar. And I think you need to start marketing Shakur Stevenson a little bit better. I mean, he's doing it on his own, but I think at the end of the day, they got to do a better job marketing him, and that's just real talk. But like I said, the question in hand, would Al make that fight? Because like I said, and then you're going to have the PBC apologists, making excuses on why that fight can't happen. Oh, well, would you do business with a guy that sued you and all that? Yeah, I would. I would. You know why? Because I would want get back. And I would prove to him, my fighters are all better than your fighters. and we gonna settle it in the ring. But all this, oh, I don't want to do business with him because this happened and that happened. Look, I'm tired of hearing the excuses. I'm tired of you PBC apologists, man, and y'all excuses. It's just time to make fights, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear this other side of the street, the last house on the left, you know, the yellow brick road. Ain't nobody trying to hear that stuff again. You know, she's a brick house. She mati. Just like we ain't trying to hear no more excuses, man. And like I said, some of these dudes that's doing all the network promotional banging for, in particularly the PBC, a network that shown that they don't care nothing about what consumer wants. Because at the end of the day, how many, you know what I'm saying, real? How many in-house fights you could have, man? At the end of the day, we want to see how you match up with some of these other dudes. Like I said before, ain't nobody trying to hear that stuff that Floyd was talking about. Oh, we're not going to make other promotional companies great. First of all, how you make other promotional companies great? You know, you making your fighter great. You making your fighter great by putting them in the ring with great fighters. You know, not, you know what I'm saying, these fights where, you know, the star or the in-house fighter is extremely favored in the fight. We want to be intrigued. We want to ask questions. We want to have question marks surrounding certain fights. We want Shakur versus Tank. We want Shakur versus Devin Haney. You know, Shakur maybe against Frank Martin and some of these dudes, man. Like I said before, man, we tired of hearing excuses. I'm tired of the excuses. Like I said, I operate on my own. While you got other dudes pushing a narrative, you know, they want to sit up there and put on their cape, dun. You know what I'm saying, for the PBC. And then the PBC constantly dissing these brothers on a regular basis. So my question is, why continue to do it? Why continue to show love for some people that don't show no love, that don't got no love for you? And then, you know, then you want to try to play the blackness card and power to the people when these particular people don't give a damn about the people that look just like them. So once again, I ask this question. Like I said, these dudes listen to these videos and they know, okay, well, we got backing so we can get away with not making certain fights. Look, Bob Arum said if it can be done, he said he'll make Frank Martin versus Keyshawn Davis. And I'm not worried about what somebody's trainer said. It ain't about the trainer. It's about the fighter. If the fighters say they want it, then let it happen. At the end of the day, depending on what happens, they can revisit the situation once again. They can run it back immediately. Like I said, at this point, I'm just tired of hearing the excuses. Like I said, this stuff is lame now and it's just whack. It's just goofy. Well, you know, PBC ain't got to do this. Like I said, man, that dude Al Haymon wouldn't give you guys the time of the day, man. This dude wouldn't even, like, for real, man. And like I said before, Al Haymon, he had a good thing when this first came about. It was a good formula and it was productive for the first couple of years. But then it got to the point, okay, well, cool, you guys got something good going on. But at the end of the day, we want to see how you fare against other dudes. Other, you know what I'm saying, other top-notch fighters that's not with the PBC. Or tied to promotional companies that got deals with the PBC. For real. And I started wanting to see these fights. And you know, some people got mad at me, but I don't give a damn. Like I said, I'm not finna show no allegiance or no loyalty to a dude or an organization that dog me out or dog people out that's affiliated with me. Why would I do that? What do it look like me doing that? Nah, sorry, not going for that. And this is why all of a sudden I'm just playing it by ear with this whole Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford thing. Hey, if the fight happens, lovely. Do I believe that fight gonna happen next? I'd be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get one more fight in between. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight happens sometime in September, and particularly in October when Terrence Crawford turns, 36, which would prove to me what I've been suspecting for years, that basically they didn't want to go or look into this fight to where they felt that Terrence Crawford would be effective, and very effective at that. I feel like they were trying to age Terrence Crawford out. But I think that there'll be one more fight. I think Terrence Crawford may get one more fight in, or Errol Spence may get one more fight in, and then worst case scenario they may fight in September. But like I said, until I hear about an official date, until I see an official press conference with those two dudes standing on opposite sides of each other, then that's when I'll be like, finally. Because like I said, I've been down this road way too many times. And like I said, this fight was supposed to have taken place years ago. But all you did is get excuse after excuse, here excuse after excuse from the. And then you had a couple of lames like co-signing this stuff. So my thing is, like I said, I'll believe it when I see it. And then I'm asking myself, okay, so now all of a sudden they want to make the fight, when they were the ones that were hell-bent against making this fight from, oh, well, we don't have the money for Terrence Crawford. We don't want to offer him nothing that'll be insulting. Oh, the fight is not going to do very well because of streaming. But like I said before, they ain't worried about this fight getting streamed, Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. But all of a sudden you saying Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford is gonna get streamed and illegally streamed. Okay, so try to make that make sense. But this is what they've been doing. They've been pulling our change for the longest. And I'm sorry some people mad because I ain't no PBC apologist, and I just gotta tell you, I really don't give a damn. If you don't like what I have to say, kick rocks. You free to go, like they say. Some of the biggest fights over the past years could have made happen because of politics. From Wilder versus Joshua to some other fights. And then they really didn't want to make Wilder versus Fury. They didn't want to really do that fight. And that's only because Wilder demanded that those fights get made, and he had a rematch clause. So, but for the most part, it took years for certain fights to get made, or, it took a little while for Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter to get made, and that fight only got made because Shawn Porter exercised his right to be the mandatory. We should have been got Crawford versus Spence. We missed out on Wilder versus Joshua. It's just a lot of fights that can be made. And then you hearing this stuff, and then Leonard Ellaby making excuses on why Devin versus Tank can't get made, and then he gonna probably make excuses on why Shakur versus Tank can't get made. And you're just tired of hearing this stuff, man. It's just nonsense. But like I said, the fanboys are gonna co-sign this stuff. These fake, super militant, pro-black Negroes. And I'm gonna tell you something else. This is just real talk, because I gotta further expose these dudes. A lot of these dudes don't like Shakur Stevenson because he cool with Terrence Crawford. And to some of these dudes, to the Errol Spence butt boys, they see Shakur like how they see Terrence Crawford. And that's what's wrong with these goofy, lame ass content creators who then, divided the community, trying to question somebody's blackness, if you support one fighter or another, which I think is just absurd. But some of the stuff that's been going on, and some of the politics and some of the gimmicks that some of these goofy ass content creators been doing. They need to question their own blackness. Like I said, they'll lay up with everything but a black woman. Just hilarious. But this is what we've been getting. Too much Fanager stuff. But that's one of the reasons why a lot of these dudes don't like Shakur Stevenson. Oh, he cool with Bud, or he would Top Rank. But then you didn't seen a lot of these PBC fighters that are brothers getting curved and getting mistreated and not getting featured for the Hispanic fighters. But you super pro-black Negroes don't say nothing. You don't push your record button and start talking about that stuff. And I'm the only one that did it. And I didn't call Top Rank on some of their antics that I didn't like. I didn't like what Bob Arum said about, Bud, about he could have built this and could have built that with the money he lost on Terrence Crawford. That's just some stuff you need to keep to yourself. I wouldn't say that for everybody in the public to even hear me say something like that, because you open yourself up to be like, hey man, what's up with that? So I'm just keeping it a buck. But that's where a lot of this animosity towards Shakur Stevenson come from, because he cool with Bud. Him and Bud is real tight. And a lot of these goofy content creators, Bud is public enemy number one. And I just don't get it. But anyway, you guys, with some bull heat later.